Okay guys, today we're going to learn how to create a click track using Garageband. So let's get started. I'm using Garageband version 10, and what I'm going to do is open up a new file. Actually, I have a file that I've created called a click template, and I'm going to open that up. It's basically just a keyboard collection file that I have saved that has the hip hop kit instrument already installed in it. If you don't have this yet, you can always just click on new track and click on keyboard, and once it goes to create that, you're going to want to search for hip hop. Just type that in there. There's your hip hop kit, and bam, you've got the hip hop drum kit in there. So, but I've already got mine set up, so I'm going to get rid of that one, and I'm going to close this out. So essentially what I want to do, I'm going to start from scratch. I'll show you how I do this. What we want to do is create two sounds for the click. One is the one count, which should be distinctive from the other counts, and then the second sound is going to be the other three. So I'm going to go over here to Beats and Projects, and this click that I'm going to create, I need one at 110 beats per minute 4/4. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my keyboard, musical keyboard typing there, and the two sounds that I'm looking for are going to be an octave C3 right here, and you can move that around by the Z and the X key, and I'm using the P and the colon, or the semicolon, and those are the two block sounds that I like to use because they're I think they're easier to hear than most other sounds, and they cut through the mix pretty well. So alright, so I've got my beats per minute set to 110, I've got my 4-count count in set, and I've got my metronome turned on. So let me start the recording. And I'm going to hit the space bar to stop that and close out my typing. And so now I've created 4 small MIDI sounds. You can see them here. If you just want to get to that, you just double click this, and it'll open up that window to where you can see the actual MIDI clicks themselves. You'll notice first that they're not really exactly aligned with the counts, and that's okay. I'm just going to select those and go to my time quantize and tell it to quantize and align it with the quarter notes. Okay, so now they've lined up perfectly. Each one's on the count. Also like to make them uniform, so I'm going to pull each one of these out to be about a half a beat long, so now they're consistent. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select them, and I'm going to set the velocity to maximum, and so I've got a good solid click. Alright, so there you go. So now we've got 4 clicks, 1 measure in 110 beats per minute. Now obviously we're going to need more than 4 clicks, so I'm going to move this out. And the easiest way I found to do it, there's a couple of different ways you can do it, but I like to just copy and paste. It gives me a little bit more control, so I'm going to make sure my little alignment tool is set right on the second measure. I'm going to copy that little clip, and I'm going to paste it. And if you go up here and set your view to time, then you can actually see how much time you have. I'm going to paste that out to about 30 seconds. Then I'm going to do a select all, copy that, and then continue pasting out. And I usually do about 8 minutes for my click. That gives me enough time. It's always good to make it longer. You can always delete what you don't need, but it's kind of a pain to have to cut and paste to make a click longer. So I'll make it about 8 minutes long, and that usually covers pretty much any song I want to do. So once I've got that set, now I've got 8 minutes of 110 beats per minute click set up, divided up into measures. So before you export it, you want to make sure you turn the metronome off, because otherwise when you export it, you're going to hear the metronome in there as well, and you don't want that. And now I'm just going to export it to MP3. You have a couple of different options of exporting in GarageBand. If it's just a click track, I usually do 192 kilobits MP3. That's really all you need. And I'm going to rename this to be click 110_44. That tells me that it's 110 beats per minute 4/4. And then just go ahead and export that out. And once it completes the export process, you'll have an MP3 file. And so now we look at our click. Here's our click. And there you go, 110 beats per minute, 4/4, ready to go. Now if I happen to need a click track in a different beats per minute, the great thing about using this template is it's very easy to change. All you've got to do is go up to the BPM section on your display, double click that, change it to whatever the new tempo is, and Garageband is going to automatically align the clicks to the new beats per minute. So you don't have to do anything except just change it right here, and then hit the share button and export your click track in the new BPM. Now, if I need a click that's going to be in a different time signature, obviously this is not going to work, so I'm going to have to change it up. So what I'll do is I'll just select the very first measure, copy that, do a select all, get rid of all of it, and then paste the first one back in. And then I'm going to go up here and double click on the signature and change it to 3/4. I'm going to come down here and remove one of the clicks, and then I'm going to shorten it to be one measure. And then here's my 3/4. So all I've got to do is just copy that and paste it out just like I did before. And I've got a click track in the time signature of 3/4. And if you're not sure about it, you can always turn the metronome on just to double check. Now you want to make sure that the metronome is turned off before you export, because you don't want the metronome in your export file. Now one thing to keep in mind is if you're going to be using this click track just as a straight click, it'll fine the way it is. If you're going to be dropping it into an Ableton Live file or something that actually uses music, what you're going to want to do is you're probably going to need to modify this click track just a little bit. What I found is when Garageband exports, for some reason it adds just a teeny amount of time to the very front leading edge of that file. So if you were to drop your click track into Ableton Live and then scroll out, you're going to see at the very beginning that you've got just a small amount of space. It's probably, take my snap to grid off, it adds, like 0.27 seconds. So what I'll just do is I'll put my cursor right there at the very leading edge of that click, do a Command D to clip it off, and then get rid of it. And then you've got your click set, and you don't have any time in the beginning. It'll line up perfectly with the measures in the file. So essentially that's how you create a click track using GarageBand. Please be sure to visit our website, affordableloops.com, or check us out on Facebook, and have a great day.